Hey everybody, welcome to Module 4. This is our reconnaissance module, and in this module we're going to use some different tools and techniques to try to discover as much information as we can about a target network. Now here's the catch. I'm providing you target systems, so we won't necessarily have target networks that we're going to attempt to recover information about. Instead, we're going to use public corporations to actually perform some of these reconnaissance techniques. We're going to look at some differences between active and passive reconnaissance. Remember the difference here being passive, we're not really disclosing our system to the target network or sending bits or bytes to and from the target network from our systems. Active means that we would be doing so. We would actually be sending packets of information from our system to a target interface. Therefore, that could be information that could be captured or gathered about us. One thing to keep in mind as we finish our previous modules, we should have our attack system set into a DHCP environment. If you are not in a DP environment and you are having difficulties connecting to the internet, you're going to want to place your system back into a DHCP environment probably. You also must have this VMware system set as a bridge. I'm sure you could use NAT and get away with it as well. Let's just keep our systems mirrored as we go through this process here. I'm going to use bridge and I'm going to replicate the physical network connection state. The main difference there is how much of the information or data moving to and from this system can cross over to our host system or host network. We're not going to be too concerned about that as we move through this. We'll be okay. But if you have just placed yourself into a bridged state because you were sitting at a host only, then you're going to want to go ahead and either restart the networking services or you're going to want to restart your VM so that your networking services restart. To restart your networking services, here's your command: service networking restart. Hit enter. It will go through and take down the interface, bring the interface back up, and we can test our public connectivity by simply pinging an address such as Google's DNS server. As you see, we're getting responses back. That means that our target system here can communicate with the public network, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. To stop this guy here, Control C. This gets you back to a root prompt. Alright, let's jump into it. Our first tool that we're going to use here, we're going to open up an actual browser. So up here in the upper left you'll see your Iceweasel browser. Go ahead and click on that. I'm just going to expand it out a little bit. You're going to want to go to the page whois.net. Just a quick overview. The whois tool is basically it's a protocol used to query databases for stored registered users of domains. The results that you'll get out of this might be domain names, it might be IP address blocks that are assigned to a customer or a target, the registered administrators, etc., etc. So the first process that we will go through with whois is we're going to actually use a site that's going to do this search for us. At this point, you can pick any domain of your choice. This is going to be your target site, whoever you want to choose. Remember, some sites are going to be hosted by companies. Other sites, they might have their equipment residing right there on their site to actually produce web pages and such for you. So depending on who you pick, your results are going to vary some. What I will do here is something like CNN.com. Let's hit enter, and it's going to tell us here CNN's already registered, which we already know. But what you're going to want to review is this information that is pulled right here. You're going to see a registration date. You may see contact phone numbers and such, addresses that are registered with the domain. See phone numbers, actual registrant emails and such. So you can get a pretty good bit of information from here. Take some time to run through this for a site of your choice and just kind of see what data you get from there. This is a deliverable, so you will want to take a screen capture of your VM as you run a whois on a company. And the important information to grab from that screen capture is here. and some of the information here. Page is too long. You're not going to get it all in one screen capture. That's fine. Now, to build off this whois concept, there's also a whois tool that is available right here through our Kali system. If you open up a terminal and from your root prompt, you're basically going to type in whois and the site of choice. You do not have to enter www. We're simply looking for the domain name at this point. You will see that you're going to get some information back where you'll get IP addresses assigned to domains, server information. You'll see different name servers here associated to CNN.com. When the last update was to the database, but as you scroll down, you'll get a lot of this information here. Will be similar to what you find over here. Now this will also be a deliverable, as I want a screen capture of this information. If you want to do a side-by-side, you can go this route as well. I will be fine with that. But as you're looking through there, find some information out, what's interesting to you that you find underneath here. Do the results differ a whole lot? Is there more or less detailed results coming through a terminal window as opposed to this tool that you can find on the web? Some things to keep in mind. Another tool that you'll use for your assignments here, if you click on File and open a new tab. So this tab back here was our whois lookup. This tab right here we will use for a different tool, and this will be called NS lookup. Now NS stands for name server, so the NS tool, it can be used to basically further query or interrogate DNS systems so that you can try to obtain IP addresses or specific DNS records. When you're thinking of DNS records, this could be to actual websites associated to an organization. This could be to mail servers associated to an organization, maybe even SOAs and such. Lots of information that you can pull from here. Let's try this tool out and see what we get. I'll begin with NS lookup, www.cnn.com, and you'll see it's going to tell it the server that's actually doing the NS lookup for us, the address of that server, as well as a port associated to it, 53 DNS. So now we have non-authoritative answers here. So we got 3 different addresses that show up here, 3 different servers that are going to be associated to CNN through an NS lookup. Another way to proceed with the NS lookup would be NS lookup, and you're going to get this caret symbol that's returned, or this greater than, and it's going to say, hey, I see that you're trying to do an NS lookup, but why don't you tell me what server you're trying to use to do the search? So we'll try Google's DNS server. So at this point in time, we've set a server for our DNS lookup, and it will be against Google's DNS servers. So the name server is now indicating that we need to type a domain or a set type. Now you'll see set types in your book, set types such as MX for mail records, SOAs for state of authorities. There's a lot of different options that you can use here. For this, I'll do set type any, and I'm going to hit enter. So, and like that, now it's waiting and it says, alright, cool. So now, what domain are you trying to search? Well, I want to search the CNN.com domain. Now, generating from this, set type any, CNN, this is the server doing the responding for us at this point. Here's some non-authoritative answers. See a mail address that's in here. See 3 separate name servers in here, mail exchange servers that are listed. You got a couple different IP addresses listed as well. So we got a good bit of information in here. From here, you're going to want to end up taking a screen capture again, showing that you have run this tool. And as you're looking through here, just kind of pay attention to what you found. Did you find anything of any interest? Record some of your results. See what you have there. Again, this is what we would be using to discover IP addresses and servers and systems for our targets. Now from here, let's go ahead and do a file. Open another tab. Now again, we have our NS lookup over here. We have our whois search over here. We'll do our last tab over here for dig. Now the dig tool can be used to query and interrogate DNS servers as well. One of the strategies that's traditionally done with dig would be trying to initiate zone transfers against state of authority devices. Do not attempt zone transfers against systems. Poorly configured DNS servers may return results to you. You do not want those results. You do not want that stuff coming back to you on your system. Again, we are in an active state right now. When we did our whois site over here, we are in an active state right now. And that's traffic that you do not necessarily want coming back to you. Most likely you will get a failure if you try to do a zone transfer, but to be on the safe side. Now, to perform a dig, you're basically going to want to reference some kind of name server. And as you see over here, I'll do a dig at, and I'll start with ns1.timewarner.net. Now, as you're reading through your text, you're going to get some information in here that will make some sense to you. I don't want to give away any of the information. You can play around with this a little bit too. You may want to do a dig at other systems as well, but again, do not attempt any zone transfers. We're not doing this to try to perform any illegal actions. Please keep that in mind. After you do your dig against the DNS server, you're going to want to take a screen capture here and record these results. Now, looking at these three different examples, we obviously have sent packets here to a DNS server. Back here, we obviously have performed an NS lookup against a site using a DNS server, not necessarily our own DNS server. Back over here, we have performed a whois against a site. Back here, we've used a proxy site to actually perform our whois. So you got some variances there with active and passive reconnaissance. We're going to wrap up lab 1 with that. You guys can take a little bit of time, look through your results, and see what you can come up with. And we're going to jump to lab 2.